Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Monson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the live stream and the podcast, and of course the Portugal Club, where that's our community, that's our private community. Exclusive, private, but very welcoming and inclusive. And of course, that's the topic of the day today. Can we ever work together as human beings? Or are we always going to need the grown-ups to look after us? Fun, food and freedom. Just in case you want to see, if you're going to stay tuned for the rest of the show when we pick up this subject and run with it after hearing a few tunes related to it. We'll be joined by Mel at 8:30, and we'll be playing a few tunes from now until then to do with fun, food and freedom. Or the alternative, possibly, of fear and fascism. There seems to be a lot of that about at the moment. And I've got quite a lot to say on this subject, as I think. And the reason why I'm looking at that today is because it seemed to be percolating and coming up yesterday. And I thought I'd pick it up and run with it today with Mel's help, because she was making some very interesting comments in the chat yesterday. And, of course, she is a regular. And I'm hoping she'll take this new slot. What are we? The third Tuesday, I think, of the month. And we go and speak to Mel once a month, and she's all about the food and the freedom, I would say. We'll find out if that's the case, if she wants to answer those claims a little bit later on at 8:30. Anyway, how are you today? Music to come. We had a slightly different scene yesterday, of course, because it was a little bit sobering, somber, because of the fire situation that's been going on. It's not entirely behind us, and let's keep making sure that we support those people who've lost their homes. Their lives have been devastated, and many people have had their lives affected. If it's true, if those statistics were true from yesterday, that the amount of land that's been burnt is 9/10 the size of London. I mean, to me, that's just extraordinary, and clearly there's a lot of work to do to help people who've lost their land, and to help that landscape, which looks like I don't know if you've ever seen it, but when you see that landscape after the fires, it's just so spooky and horrible. And it takes a while to recover. While the rest of the world has moved on, people are still having to deal with that. So make sure you stay safe. Get the access to fogos.pt, and if you can, support people who've lost things, lost part or everything to do with their lives in those areas. And, of course, support the bomberos who are fighting those fires without asking too many questions. They're just getting stuck in and getting on with it. Bon dia to you, T-Duck, this morning. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpus. Great news from you this morning. Sarah Yemen, bon dia to you as well. Andeiro, sticking around for a little while. Andeiro, hola, bon dia, Malta. Have you got a song about fun, food and freedom? A strange combo, I would say. Oh, and thanks, Joao Ernesto, also seeing your name there for your additional video coming in on 913-590-303. But yeah, I think a strange trinity, food, fun and freedom. But they do go together, as I think we'll be discussing with Mel later on. We need to work together to keep the government and big business from working together. That is the definition of fascism, isn't it? When government and big business, the corporations, work together. And that seems to be happening at the moment. Bon dia, Portugal, from Joao Ernesto. And according to the Talking Heads, David Byrne, of course, and the Talking Heads, think of London, small city. Okay, so no big deal then. Not too much land devastated. I guess, yes, by American standards, London, and maybe in the 80s when the Talking Heads visited perhaps for the first time, it did seem like a small city. Oh, a friendly and cozy one. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? Friendly, cozy community rather than federal government and centralisation. And the so-called grown-ups and so-called leaders telling us what to do. Was caught up in the wildfires of 2017 on a serious note. Thought we were done for. Wow, Douglas, I didn't know that. They certainly terrified me and changed the course of my life, I think it's fair to say. Bon, I fled to the sea, to where I live now, as it turned out. Bon dia, everyone, from Mike. Okay, so let's get on with that music. Songs of fun and freedom and working together. Community songs. What might they be? First choice then, and from Mel, who's my guest at 8:30. I didn't really take this song very seriously. It was just on in the background. Was it in the 80s or the 90s? I'm not sure. We'll find out. John Farnham. And when you drill down, when you listen to it properly, and it's not just a song that's on the radio, it's really rather good. Let's give it a listen, shall we? Yeah, try and understand it. You're the voice. We're not going to sit in silence, or we don't, at least between 8 and 9, first thing in the morning, on the weekdays anyway. How you doing this morning? Thank you very much. Great suggestion from Mel there. John Farnham and The Voice. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment too. Great suggestion there, Joao Ernesto Denort. Redemption song by Bob Marley. I don't think many people will be against hearing that this morning. A song about personal and societal liberation. Before we leave the big shared screen there and come back to a more intimate angle, again, who doesn't like an intimate angle first thing in the morning? Did you see that Mick has been in Lisbon? We were talking, weren't we, about how he'd been spotted and had a selfie taken with a GNR officer. Well, yes, confirmation from Mick himself. All right, that he's been popping up on the show all over the place. Mick Jagger on X took a summer break in Portugal, a beautiful place to explore. And this is the Insta world, isn't it? There's Mick having a great, wonderful time, and why shouldn't he? And some really brilliant memes coming up in the thread as well. Over on X here, took a summer break in Portugal, beautiful place to explore, says Mick. Didn't go into Central, didn't go and help out with the Bombeiros. As far as I'm aware, he may well have done and might not have wanted to say anything about it. Do you recognise any of these places where Mick has been photographed with some obligatory azulejos? Nice trainers. He's got big feet, hasn't he, Mick? And standing on the bow of a boat there. That does look like that's Porto, isn't it? I think, yeah, that's Porto, not Lisbon. There, let me know. I'll give you the link for that if you want to look for yourself, and if you can recognise the places that he is photographed there, that'd be pretty amazing. We'll pick that up and run with that at the Portugal Club, because I'm sure Vizinho Português Antonio F will probably know each and every one of those. So thank you for being with us again this morning, Mick. And let me go back to the camera angle, tell you a bit more about John Farnham. One day I might have a convenient switch for this sort of thing, but anyway, we shall see. Let's come back to you on the big screen there. Right, with Mick by my side as well, and all your comments too. Mick was spotted in Rabida. Great place. I mean, he obviously had good advice, didn't he, on good places to go in Portugal. And yes, unfortunately, it looks that way. Solo Life Portugal. What's going on? Matty, yeah, okay, hold on. This is important. Let's go to Fogos.pt quickly, because I think Matty's telling us, and he may well pop in about half an hour's time to give us a personal update. He is scheduled on this day of the month, but he came in early yesterday to show us what was going on at the Quinta Entre Aguas there. And let's have a look now at the situation. So clearly hasn't calmed down completely. And the state of alert continues here in Portugal. It has been extended for a further 2 days. If I remove your comment there just for a moment, Matty, and we'll come back to everybody's commentary and comments this morning. Yeah, we still have a situation there, and a great big, I think they're calling it an area of interest. Peter Dow, you're not far from there, are you, Matty? Still the... a blaze raging over at Portuguese's Way as well. Check out his YouTube channel for his most recent reporting from his area. That would appear to be the most dangerous situation in the country at the moment, in fact, over there at Oliveira do Hospital. Oh, that's the same blaze for you as well then, Matty. 1,435 personnel, firefighters, with 487 vehicles still at the moment. That's what's still happening over there. So not over yet. And you keep us informed, Matty, if you are, and you stay safe. I'm sure that you have offers of places to go from the Gumper community, I'm sure, as well, should you need to flee the area. Hopefully it won't come to that, but you let us know what you need there, and we'll check in with you in about 30 minutes, if that's okay with you. Certainly sometime today on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. Mel joining us in about 15 minutes. Well, Gemini loved the John Farnham song, You're the Voice. Let's have a look at what Matty's saying. Yeah, 3 miles from my home. My goodness, you take care there. Freedom by George Michael. Yeah, I'm tempted, definitely tempted there. Thank you very much. By George Michael's. Yes, Michael's like Cliff Richards is. Stay safe, Matty, from Pete as well. Stuff can be replaced. You and the dogs can't. Absolutely. and barely slept last night as unwillingly contemplating what to take with me and where to go in case I have to evacuate. Matty, this is actually a very serious situation for you, my friend. Fingers crossed, prayers. However people feel they can support you, let's get on with that, folks. Make sure that car is packed and ready to go, mate. Absolutely. Well said, Pete. Okay, it's in my head already. I think the escape plan, but it looks like the fire made a turn away from my home for now. This was something the Portuguese was saying actually when I was looking at his video this morning. It's great, isn't it, that the fire makes a turn? But that, of course, the Portuguese was saying he feels bad celebrating the fire turning in direction because it means it's going to somebody else, of course. We want that fire put out, don't we, rather than just changing direction. Of course, if it's heading your way, you want it to change direction, but ideally we want that extinguished fully. Okay, but it has made a turn away from our man Matty there. Thank goodness. We have been getting messages from everyone all night as usual. It looks like Quinta Fonte Pipa is going to be hit badly, and São Vicente de Beira. Thank you for your update, Pete, there. Yes, unfortunately looking that way. There's a reason why I did not buy a farm enclosed from eucalyptus, absolutely. And, you know, with the situation we've got at the moment, you can understand people actually taking action and chopping down eucalyptus nearby. This is not something, you know, we just, that balance or lack of it doesn't make any sense, does it? People's safety and a cash crop next door. Screw the cash crop. We're talking about people's lives here. Thank you very much there, T-Duck. Not that we could do much about it. It is 2:15 p.m. in our time zone at the moment. Oh, you're away, Pete. Have friends keeping an eye on our place, but difficult when we're so far away. I bet it is. I bet it is. I bet you've got all the surveillance working so that you can see what is going on there, Pete. So fingers crossed. Prayers, love. However you want to receive that, Pete. I hope that's all stays well for you. Douglas Hughes this morning is here. Thank you for your correspondence today as well. John Farnham, you're the voice. Might seem a bit superficial talking about popular music, but then again, with Redemption Song, with the voice, these are the rousing cries, are they not, for us to motivate ourselves, and it is connected. You know, so much of this fire situation, I think, is a lot to do with vested interests and the way things are organised and how they have perhaps moved away from the hands of the people who are directly affected. I think a case can be made for the importance of music in how it motivates and connects people. You're the Voice, a song recorded by Australian. There's an Aussie connection in this morning with Mel. John Farnham, released in '86. It became an immediate hit in Australia, as well as several European countries, including the UK and Ireland. It was released as a single in September 86, 1986, ahead of his album Whispering Jack, and was written by Andy Kunter. Interesting, that's not a million miles away from Kinter, is it? Andy Kunter, Q-U-N-T-A, Keith Reid, Maggie Ryder, and Chris Thompson. In the United States, the song is best perhaps known for a charting version issued in 1991 by the band Heart. Oh, that's a nice connection. It was also recorded by the Alan Parsons Band, owner of A Lonely Heart. Well, that could have turned that into a music quiz this morning. What's the connection? Featuring Chris Thompson on vocals. Very good. And performed by them at the World Liberty Concert in the Netherlands. I think I read this morning that John Farnham went on to be the lead singer of the Little River Band. That may need confirmation there. But You're the Voice was composed by British songwriters Chris Thompson, Andy Kinter and Maggie Ryder in response to an anti-nuclear demonstration in London's Hyde Park in 1985. More than 100,000 people attended the rally, but Thompson overslept. As an act of penance, he decided to express his remorse by composing a song that emphasised the importance of invoking personal agency when it comes to affecting political change. That's why we're playing it. Personal agency when it comes to affecting political change. It looks like we can't trust the so-called grown-ups and leaders anymore, and increasingly less so. That's where the conversation was going yesterday. We'll pick it up and run with it more in about 10 minutes with Mel this morning. Okay, Carl, if you chop down 5 eucalyptus, you'll get 5 more growing in its place. You need to dig it up. Yeah, well, fair enough. I'm talking about chopping it down as a in the first instance. I'm certainly not suggesting that we encourage more eucalyptus to grow, or eucalypti. You need to dig it up, and the roots can go down over 50 meters. That's not a great. That was never a great idea, then, was it? Planting eucalyptus. That is a big issue, and I think that's why you got a bit eggy, wasn't it, with Mr. Patel, who joined us before. That is a big issue, as even though the fire looks like it's out, it can carry on during underground for days after it looks out and reappear a long distance away. They're like the massive version of mushrooms and mycelium, aren't they, the way they're connected with their root system by the sound of it? Regarding light punishment for arsonists, fire is lethal, is it not? Would it be analogous to someone running about firing a gun randomly? Yeah, no one was hurt. Let's just give a wrist slap. Yes, well, I think a lot of people... Oh, well, thank you, Ron Rogers pick there as well. Cheers, T-Duck. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I will, and I will come back to you and your love, our mutual love of Ron Rogers there. Thank you very much, T-Duck. I fear if I mess about with my music playback system, I'm going to cause you grief with various level problems as well, because I haven't figured that out yet either. Let's play Mel's other tune, shall we, in just a moment. I've got a little bit of footage of the Volta. Has that come near you? All sorts going on in Portugal at the moment, including Portugal's version, of course, of the Tour de France. An odious comparison for sure. But I think that's how people get to understand what it is when eerily quiet on my street and at the end of my street where the main road is. And I thought, something's going on here. And I thought, yes, okay, they're shutting the road down. What's it for? And it was for the Volta. And it came through. And it was great because, of course, my daughter and granddaughter are here to be able to just toddle down to the end of the street and see this incredible spectacle of the GNR hurtling past, closing the roads in anticipation of the Volta coming through. It's an amazing job they do. All of that, that massive convoy of the cyclists and the Volta itself coming through with all its support vehicles, the police, the paramedics, and the sweeper. Apparently, you'll see this if I do manage to get the video. If I manage to get it up, as it were, and show you the video on the screen, you'll see the sweeper van at the end, which shows, apparently, my neighbour was telling me, that is the last vehicle to come through and is now safe to return to normal service. Right, let's play the other tune then, The Suggestion of Mel. Loved the first one, You're the Voice, John Farnham, and lovely to hear about its significance and where it came from. This, I don't think I'd heard before until Mel suggested we play it this morning. Danser encore, I think appealing more to the communitarians to dance together, metaphorically, not just on the dance floor, but in life. This is what's going to be required, I think, isn't it? We're going to have to learn how to get to work together. So we don't need the grown-ups and the leaders saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, because you can't work it out between yourselves. Let's defederalise, decentralise, shall we, and bring power to the people. It is the time, folks. I hope the people, Matty says, in power. Well, that's us, isn't it? I think that's what we're talking about today. We need to stop talking about the people in power with such reverence, perhaps, because the centralisation, federalisation doesn't seem to be working. And we seem to be caught up in, oh, I like this one, I don't like that one. It's the system, folks. It ain't working. I hope the people in power will start to take legal actions, like, for example, forbid the burned land in any other way than planting native species. That would be good, wouldn't it? But maybe local people could say that. We're not having it. We only want native species here. This way, development projects, solar farms, and other big projects won't be able to be used the fireland as a cheap, won't be able to use fire as a cheap demolishing tool. Surely you're not suggesting that, Matty, that these fires have been started cynically, such that mining and solar farms could take place. I can't believe people would do that to us, would they? Governments and big corporations working together, the definition of fascism. That can't possibly be happening. Let's danser encore, shall we, for a moment?
danser nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Nous sommes des oiseaux de passage, jamais dociles ni vraiment sages, nous ne faisons pas allégeance à l'aube en toutes circonstances. Nous venons briser le silence. Et quand le soir à la télé, Monsieur le bon roi parlait, venu annoncer la sentence, nous faisons preuve d'irrévérence, mais toujours avec élégance. Continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Auto, métro, boulot, conso, auto-attestation, consigne, absurdité sur ordonnance. Et malheur à celui qui pense, et malheur à celui qui danse. Chaque mesure autoritaire, chaque relance sécuritaire voit s'envoler notre confiance. Ils font preuve de tant d'insistance pour confiner notre conscience. Continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Ne soyons pas impressionnables par tous ces gens déraisonnables, vendeurs de peur en abondance, angoissants jusqu'à l'indécence. Sachons les tenir à distance. Pour notre santé mentale, sociale et environnementale, nos sourires, notre intelligence. Ne soyons pas sans résistance, les instruments de leur démence. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore, voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh, passer nos vies sur une grille d'accord. Oh non, 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 nous, on veut continuer à danser encore.
Continuez.
Voir nos pensées enlacer nos corps, passer nos vies sur une grille.
Awesome. That's great, isn't it? Continue to dance together. Apparently, a song. Look, Mel's dancing on her land there. We'll change things up. We'll bring her onto the screen in just a moment. But just to let you know, Danse Encore, song by the singer HK, artist named Kadur Hadidi, released in December 2020. Oh, I remember what was happening around then. The song was taken up in France and several other countries during flash mobs in a context of mobilization. What? Against the measures taken against the COVID-19 pandemic. I think encouraging people to dance together, even though we were being forced to separate, perhaps. Let's give her a nice big round of applause and get these. Get ready for a level change, everybody. Stand by. Hold on to your seat. And here she is.
Hello,
Olá, bom dia, tudo bem?
tudo bem? Muito bom, obrigada. Ótimo, ótimo.
Well, that was a great start, wasn't it, Mel? Excellent choices in
I
music
know, we'll
this morning.
puff now.
Can you speak or do you need a moment?
That's okay.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay,
Sitting by
and a
my
nice
bed now.
little living slideshow, a little bit of a video introduction to your piece of heaven there. Looks
Yes.
great. How are things going?
Yeah. I can't say that I'm a very successful farmer, but I enjoyed being down here, killing my vegetables somehow. But um,
Yes, what a
we're
great hobby.
learning. We're
Right.
learning. Yeah, but
Yeah.
as you can see, it's green and peaceful, and yeah, the dogs love it. I've currently
Yeah.
lost one. She's gone running off into the bush chasing a rabbit somewhere,
Sounds
so
nice.
I
Sounds
may
great.
get
Yeah.
interrupted by a dog.
Yes.
Can I just say something quickly before we get on to our subject of hand, just regarding the Volta? It came
Yes,
through
please.
my town,
Yeah.
and I nearly sent you some footage, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get in trouble
Oh, she's frozen up.
because
Oh,
it was
you're
so
back.
funny. There's a kind of a little. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
There
you're
was.
back now.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
it's
Okay.
coming in and out, but it's all good. It's all good.
Okay. There's a little roundabouty thing, and the police officer had one job, and that was to make sure people went through the wrong way round on the roundabout, down into
Oh,
quite a narrow street,
uh-oh.
and stood there for 10 minutes doing all of that and doing all the right things. The first lot went through. Then the main pack came through, of course, with a motorbike cop who was obviously his friend. So the cop pulled over to the side for a little chat,
No.
going the other way around the roundabout, which meant that some of the cars then followed him, nearly running him over. And then were trying to merge at speed back into the
Oh,
main part of
no.
the road. And I was just laughing. These two police officers are just standing there, and you can hear me in the background of this video going, "Oh, oh, 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 oh," because I get to see these cars going the wrong way and then having to brake to stop from hitting the motorbike policeman.
Yes.
And then they suddenly merged. And they went, "Oh, hang on, we just need to deal with this," I think, and tried to direct people back the right way again. But I had to
Wait,
laugh, like it was like 10 minutes, 5 minutes through my town, and
yeah, fair enough. I mean, but
joyously,
that's
the Portuguese police officers stopped for a chat, as the
yes,
Portuguese do in the middle of the road
yes,
while
and
on
the
the job.
yes, forgetting that the Volta are just coming through in just a moment. But it's
Well,
a
the Volta
massive
were there.
responsibility.
This was the
Oh,
Volta. It was the cars
right.
and the bikes from the Volta all going the wrong
Okay.
way.
Oh, hold on a
It
minute.
was
Let me
hilarious.
just because yeah, I can run it in the background while we're chatting here. I think I've expressed a few choice words on this because my dog escaped, and that was my great fear that Jimmy might run into the middle of the Volta as it came down the N242. Not a good look, basically, but we can leave that running in the background there, and there's a couple of minutes of it. Those are the leaders,
That was the
and
front
then you get
pack.
the pack.
Yes.
And it's an amazing sound, isn't it, when it comes past? It's really quite an incredible sound that they must get used to, as well as well-wishers just clapping and cheering for them as they come past.
And that front pack, by the time it got down to me, because I kept the video running initially, and the front pack were probably 5 to 10 minutes ahead of the rest of them by the time
Oh,
they got
really?
down to me.
Oh,
It
here
was
they
quite
come. Here they
amazing. They
Yeah,
turned
yeah,
it back off. So when this group came through, I think most of the cyclists came through, but the cars that were following and chasing them at speed
yeah.
all ended up going both ways around a roundabout,
Oh!
then trying to converge on the other side of it into a road that is half the width of the one you're looking at there, with cars
Wow.
parked on the side of it. And, it was only a few
See,
cars. It wasn't this whole lot, but it was hilarious. I just
yes, but what
but
what a logistics thing that they managed to have this movable feast going at high speed across the country. And I'd find it very stressful. If you were the cops on bikes who are just pathfinding that way through, and you've just got to get people out of the way, haven't you? Stop them coming out of side streets, dogs running onto the street, old grannies hosing you down. You never know what's going to happen next with this. Look at and all the
That's it.
support cars coming through. It's an amazing operation.
Amazing. Yeah, and
It
I love
is.
this sort of stuff. I really do.
Yeah, me too. It's definitely part of the culture we love here, isn't it? And that's the sweeper, isn't it? At the end, saying, "Okay,
Yes.
that's it. It's safe to park up in the middle of the street again, everybody."
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh, dear.
wow. Okay, very good. Talking to us from your land, a bit of a motif for the discussion because I think we got into it. Morning to you, Mark. By the way, Mark's here, and Joao Ernesto was getting involved in the French singing there. Not exactly a protest song, but encouragement to people. I think to dance together, and that's loosely the theme, isn't it? Is us dancing together as people, owning and enjoying our own world rather than this continuing trend which came up yesterday of interference in our lives for our own good. Maybe that's quite a good way of summing it up. The interference in our own lives for our own good. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
very good, does it?
Well, you have several elements of that. It not only supposedly for our own good, it isn't, and I will touch on that again in a second. But
Right.
also because we then become dependent,
Mm-hmm.
and we do have learned helplessness, and then look, the road's this. Who's going to fix it?
Yeah.
Who
Yes.
else is going to do this?
Yes.
And I think that that's one of the issues that we're dealing with. I have spent quite a bit of time talking to people. Oh, hold on. I think I'm lost for a minute. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you fine. Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
fine. Okay, my sound is gone.
Nothing
Um,
changed.
okay, I'll try not to pull faces in case I'm still there.
Yeah, well
Um,
done.
but but I talked a little bit even on this show a little bit about decentralized communities and requiring. We need governance, we need leaders, but in my opinion, it should be meritocracy leadership.
Yeah.
We need something done on the roads, so who's an expert on the roads that can fix that and work on
Mm,
that project and in our local area. And in my opinion, there's absolutely very minimal amounts that needs to be done at a national or federal level. Because I think the more difference we have within, even in things like education, maybe there's a curriculum standard that is set across the country, but
mm.
how schools get there, as long as they're meeting the standard, maybe needs to come back to a regional area
Yep.
of different ways of teaching depending on differing needs,
Yes.
because you have children in Lisbon who are in different living environments than those sitting out in the country, and we're not meeting those differing needs and learning styles of the children.
Well
And
said.
and if the parents deem that, this isn't working out for my child, they have the option then of going to a different school in a different area, moving home
Yep.
to fit in better with their family. At the moment, everything's homogenous and we all have to comply whether it fits us or works for us. And
Yes.
one of the key things that I think of in talking about this is the reason whenever I talk about reducing governance, everybody goes, "Oh, you're talking about anarchy. You're talking, the place will fall apart. There'll be violence on the streets.
Yes.
People will scam us if we don't have controls and laws." Well, guess what? It happens now, and it's getting
Exactly.
worse. It
That sounds like now,
so
doesn't it?
yeah, and we forget. We talk about, we can't trust. I can't do a deal with someone because they might rip me off. Well, who's been ripped off by an insurance company, a telephone company, a government department, whatever? We're still getting ripped off. We're
Yep.
still
Yep.
having issues. We're still dealing with that. I don't know that we're actually getting ahead on that, and we're
Yes.
giving away our freedom and our self responsibility and our skill set and our mind ability. Um,
Minds. Yes. Yes.
yeah, we're just not thinking for ourselves anymore,
Mm.
ready to hand it over to someone else. And yeah, some people can't be trusted, including the ones that we're handing that control over to. And
However,
it,
Mel, AI is coming, and that's going to sort everything out, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I watched a really interesting video yesterday, Diary of a CEO, a great
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
channel. He's an
yes,
amazing interviewer, and he interviewed two differing perspectives on AI and the effects on our brain of AI and computers in general. Very interesting. Well worth an hour and a half of everybody's time if you've got time to watch it.
mm-hmm.
So, I think that there needs to be a a work on the thought process that people are, the closer you are to people, the less likely you are to get ripped off by them.
Yeah,
Um, especially in a small community setting where everybody knows everybody. I just had work done on my house at last, and the guys live a block away from me, and they
yeah,
did an amazing job. Now,
yeah,
maybe they always do an amazing job, but they also know they have to see my face every day if I'm not
yes,
happy because I
yes,
walk past their house every day.
yes,
So that really helps. And doing the little things to keep in terms of practical things. I've actually managed to wash it off. I've got blackberries all over my fingers because I've just been picking the blackberries.
nice,
Um, and, you know, I have a lot of little tiny loges, merceries in my town, and I try and give them as much support as I can. Now, I can't afford to buy from them all the time because sometimes they're more expensive, so I certainly try and buy their fresh fruit and vegetables that come in off the farm that day
mm,
until I can figure out how to grow my own. And but, they don't need me to spend 100 euros a week with them to keep supported. I
mm,
can go and spend 90 euros at the supermarket in things that, I just can't stretch the budget to buy completely from them.
yes,
But if
yes,
everybody bought 10 euros a week from them of some of their produce, it will keep them going, and it will
yeah,
keep cash going. And it will come back into that situation where, for me, you mentioned it a bit yesterday, if we have to have digital controls, and we're going to have to, I'll be opting out.
yeah, yeah,
So that means that we have to actually stop and think about everything that we currently are required to do online, every company that forces us online for everything,
yes,
and go, how are we going to deal with that? What
yes.
businesses do I need to support that don't force me to do that?
Well, hopefully they're coming to the fore, or they will be, because it's this is a big problem, isn't it? Is now you saying you're going to opt out makes you sound like a revolutionary or an anarchist or some sort of danger to society, when in fact it's right that any new change that comes, people have the option to do it or not. And the way things, a lot of things have gone in the last 5 years are like, well, this is just what's happening, get used to it, rather than this is what's being proposed. For those who want to do it, over here. For those who don't want to do it, you go over there, and like, good luck to everybody. That to me would be, essential democracy or wisdom or humanity at work. Like, fine, I don't want, for those who are looking forward to their AI enhanced digital future where they have to do everything through a computer. Well, good luck to you. Go do it. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
shouldn't do that, but
Mhm.
what's happening now is like, well, the rest of you are doing it whether you like it or not, and that's a worrying trend, isn't it? And what I'd like to do is sort of bring the conversation back towards Portugal a bit, because there is a resonance here, I think, with what's possible, still possible here in the Portuguese psyche and the way Portuguese people are made, perhaps. And they're more recent than other people. They're more recent experience of living in a dictatorship. So arguably, we are moving towards a digital dictatorship. It doesn't look quite like it when you're living in the time of it, does it? History always reports these things much more severely, and quite rightly too. But as you're making the slow decline, you might say, into dictatorial situations, it looks like you've got choices, but you kind of wake up one day, don't you, to think, Well, like you did in 2020. Well, what the hell just happened there? I didn't ask for this, but here I am having to live my entire life at the demands, not requests, the demands of other people, and to do certain things to be in line, otherwise face punishment and social stigma or prosecution. So, do you see, I mean, there's the template of the land, the food motif, the ideas of freedom we're talking about. Presumably you saw Portugal as a good backdrop for that.
Yeah, I mean, was well aware of where Australia was going. And
Right.
again, Australia does not understand how far along they are.
Hmm.
I won't go into great detail here because it takes up too much time, but I left there in 2017 and I knew some of the things in surveillance they had in place, even in shopping centres in 2015, that
Yeah.
most people still believe isn't real.
Yeah.
And I know because I know the people who put it in. So, I could see that happening then. And during COVID, when I was talking to people, that the South was very restricted in Australia, but in the North, where I'm from, my mum's saying, "Oh, we're having no problems here. There's not really nothing. We're not restricted." And then she told me that she had to get an app on her phone to show her ID to get bread from the bakery.
Yeah. Not very restricted here, though.
What? What are you talking about?
Yes.
So, yes, I see that there's a very big cash society here. There's a very
Mm.
big, not necessarily so much in the cities, but in my town, I've literally been trying to get things done here on my land and home for years. And this last month, when everybody's supposedly on holidays, suddenly everybody was available. But, I've been so busy because someone came to do the outside of my house. And while they're there, I'm saying, look, I'm really having trouble getting my well fixed, which is what I showed you earlier.
Oh, right.
And I've been trying for 2.5 years. And he said, oh, well, maybe such and such as dad might be able to help. That will bring that guy pop by that afternoon. And last weekend he came and did it.
Yeah.
This is after me trying to find someone going through, and this is where I come back to this fake control. This is about me having gone into big stores and saying, I need help with getting this well repaired. Can you help me? Can you help me? Yes, we'll come down. No showing up, no turning up, nothing happening, cancelled orders, all sorts of stuff. But it's me then talking to a guy in my town, and a week later it's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have this false illusion that we're being protected by these big companies. And so when you're coming back into Portugal, yes, for me it's about supporting those little stores. For me, unfortunately at this point in time, I do need to go a lot into Leroy Merlin, I think they pronounce it,
Don't say
to buy
encore. Don't say encore. Don't le Leroy. Yes.
to buy stuff. And I'm really frustrated that at the last few months that the actual man checkout pretty well never is. And so I go through and have to do a self checkout. I'm not a paid employee of theirs. I don't get a discount. And I say, I don't want to put this through. I want to go through that checkout. And they go, well, there's no one here to do it. And I go, great, can you do it, please?
Yes.
And I make the staff member put my things through on the self-serve checkout because I just go, this is
Brilliant.
insane. This is
Yes.
crazy that we don't have an option. And I think that if we're going to talk regulation, the main regulation needs to be more. Your companies have to give people an option. And it's not necessarily even about freedom, breaking the system, any of that stuff. It's about older people or people who just don't simply like tech, that are sick of spending, an hour on a call to Vodafone trying to get through to the right department to push the buttons and want to talk to a human being,
Yeah.
that there is an option where I can go in and say, can you fix this for me?
Yeah.
Or no, I want to pay in cash. It's legal tender. You need to set a system and don't charge me more for paying in legal tender. I should be able to pay the same
Yes.
to pay in cash as I do because especially as there's credit card fees for the vendor, there's no reason for them to be charging me more to pay things in cash. And, it's about respecting, as you say, the different preferences of the citizenship
Yes.
of all of us to say, no, I want to walk into a shop and talk to a human and pay and
Yeah.
buy my stuff with cash and get to know people and be served like I
Yes.
always have been. That sort of stuff. And you're right, I think Portugal does still exist a bit in this. And that's what does appeal to me,
Yeah.
in truth, a lot. But we
Yes.
got to do our part as well. We
Well, that's also very important because it's very popular at the moment, isn't it, to externalize our frustrations. There's a lot of that in the world at the moment, and not taking much responsibility for the world you do want, and perhaps getting stuck in like, it's other people's fault and it's other people doing this to me. And I think there is, there will be an amount of evidence to support that, but ultimately you're just going to end up saying that as the world around you changes, unless you create a different vision and enroll and subscribe others in that vision. That's what I'm not seeing a great deal of. And that's what I wonder sometimes if we're capable of. That's why on the screen I've got there, will we ever work together? And clearly it works much better for anybody who would want to govern and control other people, to have those people not getting on very well and saying, well, look, you can't figure it out yourself, so we're going to have to impose something. That's us never growing up, isn't it? And not needing to be paternalized, maternalized, and adulterated, or whatever. We're being controlled and never growing up. This is perhaps where we are in terms of humanity. Is yes, okay, there are these things we would rather not have imposed on us, but what are we going to do? What's the alternative? And what are the living examples of that? And again, I think quite a few people, and they sometimes get a bad reputation in Portugal for being idealistic and wanting to try this, but they see Portugal as a great, option potentially to have some land and do their own thing and live in a community. Sometimes yoga's involved and ayahuasca and things, which do contribute to the awkward reputation that some of those communities have. But you can see what people are trying to do, and I've been involved in intentional community in the past. And one of the greatest challenges is having people get over themselves and being able to work together. And it's no wonder when like a convenient system is the alternative. It's like, well, okay, yeah, just give me digital dictatorship. It's much easier than trying to get on with people all day long. What's your view on that, Mel?
Yeah, I think, the key is as I've said, I'm very into taking personal responsibility. Having said that, we also have to get our ego out of the way and accept that we can't do everything. We're not going to be good at everything, and we can't lead at everything, even if we're the type of person that wants to lead. And that there is many people who don't want to lead. And that's, I perfectly respect that. You can't have everybody leading on everything. There may be a certain a group that get the work done and that play a part in the team, and you can't pick them out and say you have to lead the team when they don't want to. But then you have to say, well, do you have certain skills? Maybe you can lead a little aspect of it because your knowledge is so much greater, or you can be the chief advisor to the leader of the team. But
Yes.
meritocracy leadership is a key concept for me, in
Yeah.
that, we need to have people who are good at what they do and can communicate well, because someone who's good at what they can do often can't necessarily communicate well.
Yes.
You only have to set, that's what they say, the people who can do and those that can't teach.
Yes.
Um,
Sorry,
because
teachers.
often the best teachers are those that just know 2 seconds worth more than you do,
Yeah.
because those that really know just talk at a level you don't understand on
Mhm.
anything. And I think we need to it's about building trust again, and that's not blind trust. It's about understanding that you will get ripped off sometimes. It will feel unfair sometimes if you're using barter, if you're
Yes.
using, and I've certainly done this in the past. I was a personal trainer, and I used to train my dentist, and he looked after my teeth. That's how it worked. And we kept a bit of a running total, but at the end of the day, it worked out a bit one way or another at any given time. And that's just going to happen.
Yeah.
But But it happens now, and what we forget is that it's happening now. You're giving up half of your actually, in Portugal, even on a basic wage, you're giving up between EVA and income tax, you're giving up 40 to 50% of your pay.
Yeah.
So you're basically being ripped off to the degree of that
Yeah.
just to survive.
Yes.
I've had countless examples where, you pay for your house insurance and do something, whatever, then I have a problem with the house. Oh, we don't cover that. What? What are you talking about? You don't cover that, like that's what I had house insurance for. So there's a lady right now in Portugal who lodged her tax legally and properly, an American woman with finances. They made a mistake and charged her huge amounts of money. Now I'm talking tens of thousands, and they took it straight out of her bank account without
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
her
that happens.
approval.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But on top of that, they've now ruled that they were wrong. They've given her back most of it, but not the last few thousand for some reason, even though she has in writing that they made a mistake and they owe her this money back. And they haven't cleared the debt from the system. This is now 3-4 months later. I just heard yesterday that they won't renew her residency visa until
Oh,
she
because she's
clears
not up
the
to
debt
date.
that's listed with
Yeah.
finances.
Hold on a minute. This sounds like a financial dictatorship to me. But anyway, that would be one way of
So
cutting it.
now
Yeah.
she's having to pay for a lawyer.
Yes.
So so that's going to cost her a heap of money and time and da 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 da. And she's already
Stress.
spent heaps with accountants and lawyers. And so if you go, okay, that's going to cost her thousands of dollars to rectify this situation. If we can accept that sometime doing some sort of barter and trade with people in our community, that sometimes it's going to cost us hundreds or thousands in things that go wrong, in someone who rips us off, takes advantage. We did 5 hours of work for them, but they only did 3 for us, and we're out of pocket somewhere. That's part of the cost that we pay. And
Yes. Well, that's the
we're
thing, Mel,
paying
isn't
it
it?
now.
Yes, there is the status quo, and the diggers and dreamers are often on trial in a way with their new proposal or alternative, and it always has to be perfect, doesn't it? It's not like a useful evolution in a better direction. It's like, well, we're not adopting anything unless it's absolutely perfect. And have you got the answer? No, I haven't got the complete answer, but I've got a few interesting starting points and things we might talk about, rather than just ignore the whole thing and just carry on the way we are. Because it would appear, I mean, that seems, I've been saying this for quite a long time. We are in the middle of something here, aren't we? In the sort of post-COVID time, that was a symptom of something that's going on with humanity in our particular civilization. That the systems we have expected, I mean, wisely or not, the systems we have expected to help us in terms of education and health and governance are collapsing. I don't think anyone would deny that, would they? Or if they're not collapsing literally, they are collapsing spiritually or in term or ethically, and they're looking unsustainable. As you know, so education, for example, schools don't know what they're educating kids for, do they? Because no one knows what's coming. How could you possibly say this is the right education for children now? Health, everyone knows there's a kind of a growing elderly population. The health system's under incredible pressure. People say that's immigration as well is adding to that. Whichever way you look at it, it's not functioning optimally in the way that it might have used to, if ever it did, but it's certainly not going in a great direction of travel. So all of these things definitely need looking at, but often the idealists, the dreamers, have to present a fully formed, perfect picture of what the alternative is before people will sort of release their white knuckle grip on everything we've known so far, right?
And the irony of that is that those same people accept it from the government. I mean, look at this, the recent thing on the nationality immigration changes they're trying to put through.
Yes.
They're not thought out. They haven't figured out how they're going to implement them. And at the first stage, they get knocked back by the Constitutional Court because
Yes.
they haven't met the basic legal requirements. If I did that as an outlier, I'd be laughed out of the town for bothering to even try and introduce something that was that poorly thought out.
Yes.
So we accept that. And I think at the end of the day, what it comes back to is what's the word? Is it abrogated authority, responsibility to someone else, and we all do it. We all do it. I remember in making some medical decisions for my son when he was quite young. I look back at them now and go, oh, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that. Like my heart told me I shouldn't do it. I
Yes.
wish I hadn't done it. It had serious outcomes. And someone said, "Why did you?" And I said, "Because if I'd have taken the responsibility, done something else, and something happened to my son, I'd never forgive myself. Now I
Right.
can blame the doctors.
Yes.
Now I can
Yes.
just say I did what I was told to do, and it's their fault because they didn't know enough and they didn't fix it." And
Funny
that's
that.
a key thing, is that we kind of right at the moment, we can say, "Oh, the bloody government, they don't know what they're doing," or
Yes.
the health
Yes.
department or the education department. And we don't have to go, actually, part of the problem with the education is that, that kids aren't being taught at home.
Mm.
And that can be a wider issue. As a single mother, I there's many issues to do with that. But I had to work full time, and it was difficult to fit in time to spend that educating my son at
Mm.
home.
Yeah.
But fortunately, because I was so busy, um, it forced him to sit up. I remember getting sick when he was 3 years old. I mean, seriously ill. You're going to die, seriously ill.
Hmm.
And it gave me such a fright. It gave him one too, but it gave him such a fright, suddenly realizing that I'm at home trying to recover from surgery, and I've got a 3-year-old who doesn't know how to make himself a sandwich, or doesn't
Yeah.
know how to bring me a sandwich, and I can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did when I got well enough was teach him how to make himself a peanut butter sandwich. It's not the height of nutrition,
Life
but
skills.
we went there, and how to clean things, and how to safely handle things and pull things down to his level. And from 5, 6 years old, he was cooking a meal every week. By the
Oh.
time he was a teenager, he was cooking 2 or 3 dinners a week.
Yeah.
He was washing his own clothes, he was ironing, he was doing these things because I was so busy, and I recognized that I needed him to pull his weight.
Yeah.
But if the kids haven't, if the kids haven't learnt this ability to think for themselves. I was homeschooled myself for 3 years as a child, and there's many disadvantages in that I see, having been in it. But what I do see is that I had a mum who quit school at 12 in the war days. She was lacking in confidence academically, and I was clever. I was good at school. And so she struggled because she couldn't keep up with me. What that meant is I had to learn to teach myself, and she was amazing at teaching me. Well, I don't know, love, let's go and find out. How are we going to figure this out? And it taught me to teach myself, which
Very
is
good.
a skill that can never do you wrong.
Well, Mel,
Um,
we're
and
coming up
s
past
and so
9 o'clock. We're going to go to Matty for another on-the-spot
Mhm.
report. The big fire is only 3 miles away from him, and I was going to ask you for final thoughts before you go. Thank you for your food for thought so far, and maybe that's it. Like teach yourself. You're talking about taking responsibility. You're talking about teaching yourself. Have you got a final nugget or two for us before you go? And we look forward to seeing you again next month in this slot.
Yeah, just basically to start doing a little bit. I mean, I think too we get a little bit, um, I'm not living in a rural area. I don't have this, I don't do that, so I can't do anything. Yes, you
Mm,
can. You can still spend 10 euros a week with the local shop and pay
yeah,
cash. You can talk to the kids in the street. You can use your local handyman, even if it costs you a little bit more money, where you possibly can. You can learn how to fix things yourself. You can try and barter and work around. You can do little things everywhere. And we have to start with the little things, because you can't learn everything at once. You can't change everything at once. It's too much.
be the change. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's what you're saying there, isn't it? And we can return to this meme of the moment, which is, if I take my overlay off here, I think basically what's being said here is, how about we get more goats on the land, eating the brush down, so it's not so not so flammable, and have less goats in the parliament. I think that's what it says. Mel, thank you very much for your insight and actually living this. You know, you're being an example of what you're talking about. It's very important, very honourable, very ethical, and very inspiring as well. So thanks, Mel.
Yeah.
Cheers, all the best. Thank you very much indeed. I think she froze finally for the last time there, but we definitely got the gist of what she was saying. I'm a big supporter of how Mel is putting her best foot forward and killing her vegetables. No, only kidding. She's giving it a go, and she's learning while she's developing a bit of paradise there in Portugal. Let's bring Matty onto the screen now. On the spot report from we went to your Quinta yesterday, Matty, didn't we? And we saw the smoke in the sky. We saw your video. How's it looking today, mate?
Well, it's regarding the smoke. First of all, good morning, everyone.
Morning, bom dia.
The smoke is a little bit less. It's still in the air, and I don't know if you can see, but there's a lot of ash everywhere. Falling out of the sky, of course, and
Right. Where's he gone? He's just dropped out of off the show there. I don't know if the atmospheric conditions are affecting his connection. They may well do, and that's an image that Matty sent me in anticipation of him returning. Carrying on from the conversation I was having with Mel, shop local and pay cash. The proprietors will love you for it. The corporations won't, will they? But certainly the locals will. Good point there. Cheers, T Duck. Stay safe, everyone near fires. Mel is saying, and I don't know. Let's not panic. I think Matty is safe, apart from a poor connection this morning. And let me just make sure. Actually, I'll put the link to the particular situation near to him. Piedão and Arganil in the Coimbra district is where the worst of the fires still appear to be, and we are still until midnight tonight, I believe, in a state of alert. Some parts of the country calling for a state of calamity, whatever they call it. I mean, let's just make sure as much as we can that they get helped and supported. This is not the time, is it, for as I was revealing yesterday from the presidential hopeful Gouvier Melo. Definitely not the time for politicking, time for action. And they were trying to silence him, I think, from saying things, accusing him of politicking. But, you know, some things do need to be said about this. And we are looking, it's like it's just the same every year, isn't it? We do know what needs to happen. But it doesn't seem to be as yet, for the very reasons I was talking about with Mel. So let's bring Matty back onto the stage. We lost you there for a moment, Matty.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. For some reason, I lost internet and took a while to get StreamYard back up, but I'm back.
You're here.
Well,
You're here. This is the map, right? This is where you live. Lorisal do Campo is
yes,
there. Is
Lorisal. Yeah, I live southwest a little bit from the village.
Yeah.
And yeah, last time I checked, the fire front on Google Maps was about 3 miles, less than 3 miles from my house.
Right.
But it seems that it's when you look on the map, it seems the fire is making a turn to the left, away from my farm, which I appreciate. But at the same time, I'm sorry for the people that the fire is now turning to.
Yeah. Right. Of course.
I have not yet seen or heard any planes today. Usually they fly over my head, going back and forth between the Marateca, the lake, the artificial lake they use for filling the plains with water, and which is also the water reservoir for Castelo Branco as a whole.
Yes.
But like I said, I haven't seen or heard them this morning yet. I think I hear one in the distance right now. On Fogos, they say that 3 planes are aiding that fire at the moment. So they must have started to fly. But like I said, I haven't seen or heard anyone yet.
Right.
So
okay.
I expect to see and hear a lot of them today, since I'm kind of between the fire and the lake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, we're keeping everything crossed for you, mate. It looks like it's in resolution. We're hoping so. and you're poised and ready as we were urging you to do so. You've been thinking about that. This is the advice to people, isn't it? It's like, don't be crazy. Don't stay on your land at all costs. When you feel the need to move, or if you're asked to, get your grab bag, get your pets, and go.
To be honest, when I was trying to sleep last night and my brain was refusing that and tried to work a evacuation plan, there were thoughts of I could go hide under the bridge over the river if the fire comes, or I have a well that has a staircase going down into the water, which is granite all around. So there were those thoughts as well in case I cannot make it out. But no, I'm not. I'm not that brave. So if I get the message I have to evacuate, I just drop everything and run.
Yeah, you do that.
If the fire hits and devastates my property, I will lose everything. There is no insurance I have that would help me out. And then I will probably be homeless. So one of the thoughts I had was, if I have to go, I have to at least get my tent in the car so I have a roof over my head if everything goes wrong.
God, this is where some people are at, and some people have lost everything in the way you described, Matty. We are obviously sincerely and wholeheartedly hoping that doesn't occur for you, and the conditions are looking like that is the case. So lots of love to you, mate. Big hug, abrazo. From us and community here, and we'll keep in touch with you. I mean, you are connected, aren't you, to friends and members of the community here in some way?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay, good.
And to be honest, looking around my property, first of all, let me show you. It's quite clean.
Yes, good.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And my neighbors also have their land cleaned.
Yes,
And
good.
there are no pine trees or eucalyptus in, I think, 300 meters around me.
Excellent.
So I think I'm relatively safe.
Yes.
But, unless it's is extinguished and under control, and you never know, because it can turn badly.
Yes,
But
very
as
good.
long as my dogs are that relaxed, I don't have to worry, I think.
That's a beautiful picture. Hopefully, we can all stay that relaxed with you on your behalf, and you can too, Matty. So, thank you for that update. You take care, mate, and we'll stay in touch with you. I have an emergency plan sorted all year, says Mel. Please all take time to do so for flood, fire, power failure, etc. Well said, Mel. Cheers, Matty. Take care, mate. Love to you and the dogs there. Ciao, ciao. See you, mate. Bye for now. A round of applause doesn't seem entirely appropriate on an occasion like this, but we thank Matty for his contributions over the last couple of days and keeping us in touch with what's been going on in that part of Portugal. We will finish with João Ernesto Donort's suggestion. It's a good one. It relates very well to what we've been talking about. Redemption Song by Bob Marley. We'll go out with that. And the song, let me just tell you a little bit about it before we enjoy that as our final contribution today. The final track on Bob Marley and the Wailers' 12th album, Uprising, produced by Chris Blackwell, who you may know if you're a reggae fan, owner of Island Records, released on that label. Considered one of Marley's greatest works, key lyrics derived from a speech given by the Pan-Africanist orator Marcus Garvey, titled The Work That Has Been Done. If I scroll down to meaning and influence, and I'll leave you with this, the song urges listeners to emancipate yourself from mental slavery. That's good advice, isn't it? Because none but ourselves can free our minds. So even if we can't bring about the changes Mel was talking about, we can liberate ourselves mentally. Thank you for this suggestion, John. And let me just make the right adjustment so that you can hear it properly. Take care, and we'll see you again tomorrow for the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast.
Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs. All I ever have, redemption songs. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need